Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to start a new playthrough of Point Blank, V is for Victory from Lock and Load Publishing. And we're going to do the teeth meet teeth scenario. And let's see, grab my glasses. Teeth meet teeth. July 5th, 1944, near Comont, elements of the U.S. 507th Parachute Infantry were ordered to take ground near Poterie Ridge. They did not encounter any resistance and settled down for the evening. When dawn broke, they found themselves in the middle of a bivouac area of the German group Koenig, and a firefight shortly ensued. With the noise, they were quickly joined by reinforcements from the right and left flank. This unexpected hiccup was just another step on their way to get to Comont. Order of battle, and the U.S. We set up first. We have 9 infantry, a mortar, 3 BARs, and 1 1919 A4. 2 leaders, Lieutenant Peterson, Sergeant Miller, and then the Germans set up in areas A2C2 and A3C3 on the battlefield. They have 4 second-line infantry, 5 infantry, 1 7.92 millimeter machine gun weapon team, Lieutenant Werner, Lieutenant Werner, Lieutenant Anders, Lieutenant Berauer. They also have an MG34 and 1 MG42. This is a 3 turns. Germans have the first impulse. Whoever controls the hill, which is here, and you have to have 2 of the white icons on the hill to control it. Solo play posture, we're both offensive, so both going to have the offensive moves. The hill terrain cannot be removed, and there are reinforcements that can happen if a reinforcement card gets pulled. Okay, and then our terrain setup. We removed from the deck the 4 stone buildings, 6 wood buildings, 3 stone walls. We added 3 wood roads, and then again we did our setups, and there was a wood for each of the sides set up in sector C2. Yeah, just making sure I read that right. Yep, so we got them all set up. I have the U.S. Set up over here. We have an infantry squad with a BAR, and we have a 60 millimeter mortar fire team here. Here with Lieutenant Peterson, we have a BAR and 3 infantry squads. That's our stacking limit there. And behind him we have 2 more infantry squads and another BAR. And then over here in sector A, we have Sergeant Miller with the M19 19A4 and 2 infantry squads, and behind him is another single infantry squad. So I just did that because I didn't want them all to be in the same sector. I'm going up over here. So on the German setup, one of the things I was rereading some of my rules, all the sectors should have units in them, and they should be as evenly distributed, and when you needed random, we did random. So on the far side over here, we have a second line squad with an MG42, and behind them is another infantry squad. Then here in B2 we have Lieutenant Anders with a 2 second line squads. And behind him we have Lieutenant Werner with the MG34, an infantry squad, and a 7.92 millimeter machine gun team. So they got some firepower there. In C2 we have 2 infantry squads, and behind them we have Sergeant Berauer with an infantry squad and a second line squad. So that's our setup for that. First thing we need to do, we'll shuffle the, I've already shuffled them, but we're going to give them another mix here. And then we got to draw terrain for each of the sectors. So we'll start with the US because they set up first. So we'll start up here in A2. We draw 2 terrain cards. We get a clear and we get brush. So thank goodness they get the brush. Okay, so they're not out in the open. Now we'll do the squad behind him. He has brush and a stone wall. Well, we'll take the stone wall just because that's better terrain. Now we'll come here with Lieutenant Peterson. It's 2. He gets a woods road and a clear. We'll take the woods road. And then behind him is the infantry squad. They have a road and they have woods. He'll take woods. Okay, so far the terrain for the US is not bad. They're in woods. Okay, now we'll come over here. They already have woods, so the squad behind them, we have, oh, more woods and clear. Well, of course they'll take the woods, so that's a nice wooded area over there. Okay, here for Lieutenant Anders, he's in a road and he's in a road. Well, guess he's going to be on the road. Okay, of course the hill's blocking that, so it's not bad. The terrain behind him is clear and brush, so they'll take the brush. We have this infantry squad. They have clear and a stream. They wouldn't take the -1, so they'll take the clear. And then for Sergeant Brower, he has brush and clear. Of course, they'll take the brush there. Okay, so that sets up the terrain. Now we take our action deck here. As you can see, it's quite thick. I've already shuffled it, but we'll give it another mix right here, just for everybody knows that it was all shuffled. First thing we do is take 4 cards off the top because we're playing the solo rules. 4 cards, they go to the discard pile. And the Germans start first. So the first thing they do is discard another card. And we have to go to their, let me find their card here. Oh, I think it's on this side. Yep. Now they are in an attack posture. And I have my dice cup. And we roll for them. And we get a 4, a 1-3. They're going to do fire and recon. Okay. So we're going to check them for fire. Let's see. Move action. I got to find all my cards here. Offensive posture, move action. Spend card action. That's not what I wanted. Keep defensive posture there. Okay, so we start with fire action. Select an AEO, and we're going to look at this term, which AEO is actioned. Is AEO available to fire? Yes. AEO unit, multiple units. Let's see here. Yes, yes, no. So his range is 3. 1, 2, 3. His range is 3. His range is 5. 1, 2, 3. He could fire there. And everybody except for this group, they would be spotted because they're in the open on the road. But the hill's blocking them, so it's really not going to matter. And these guys would be spotted because they're in the open. But the hill's not blocking them, so we can see them. Over here, all my guys are concealed. Okay, so the only guy that could fire is this one. Available to fire, yes. Multiple, no. Have ordnance or radio special weapons, yes. Support weapons. Fire ordnance before radio at the player unit and before infantry. Okay. So they can fire 1, 2, 3, 4. So that MG42 can fire at us. Okay. So now we have to do the fire. So let me find that table. Okay, so he's going to fire. A couple things are going to happen. They become spotted because they fired. He's going to pick up a fatigue for this squad that's firing this weapon. So his firepower is 3. We don't have any modifier for the attack. So he gets 1 card and we add it 3 to this. 3 to 1 is a 4. Okay, that's his attack number. Now we do defense over here. I'm concealed because they haven't spotted me yet. So I get +2, +1 is 3. So I have a +3 and I get a 5, that's 8. So there's no effect from that attack. Okay. That was their attack, and they also get a recon. Okay, so my recon is here. Offensive posture recon. Available player unit to spot, yes. Conduct a spot attempt of unspotted PU within line of sight and closest to an AEO. Well, he's already had an action, so he can't do it. He can't spot through the woods, so the only guys we have are these two. He has a leader. Okay. And they're in the woods, so they can attempt to spot this wood section over here. So he has a morale. He has a, let's see, spotting is to spot a unit, the D6 check must equal 3 or less. If the attempt to spot units in blocking terrain, add +1 to the check. Okay. So they're going to attempt to spot over here. They need a 3 or less, +1. They do not spot. Okay, and I need to check to see if spotting creates a fatigue. Okay, no fatigue. Let's see. I got to draw 5 cards for my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a unit action, a move. 2, 3, 4, 5. My leaders can do these items too, so I'm going to lay these down here. I have a spotting too, which I'd like to play, I think, to get some more terrain where I can move up. Like to do so he can do a rally or a unit action, and that'll make him spent. All right. Okay, we're going to play a move action here. So we're going to put move onto these guys. It's going to give that whole stack a fatigue level right there. And so on the next turn, that's where they'll move to. He could have these guys play a unit action here with this machine gun. 2, 3, 4, because I've spotted them. I think we'll do that. He's going to play, he'll spin Sergeant Miller. And he'll be able to fire his M1914 Range is 1, 2, 3, 4 at that MG42 up there. The firepower is 2. So he's going to fire. He has a 2. He gets plus this. It's a 5. Their defense, they're spotted, so we see them, is 2. 2 on 1 is 3. Oh, I hit him. Okay. And he's going to get a fatigue for firing on that top unit, right? One of those units right there. I'll have to separate them in a minute. Okay, so we hit them. There's only one unit there. But we return fire, and we have to do a damage check. Okay, the morale check on this squad is 4. So we're going to pull this is 8.4. Just making sure I'm doing this right because I haven't played for a little while. I want to make sure I do this right. We now conduct a D6 check, adding the damage check modifier to the result. If the result is less than or equal to the morale unit. Okay, so the damage check. Okay, so we had a 3. Oh, I gotta make sure I did that right. Yeah, plus his, well, he's spent, so he doesn't get to use his leadership modifier because he gave them the unit action. So they fired, they had 2 plus 3 was 5. He has 1 plus 3 is 2. So he adds 2. The difference is 2. Okay, so we pull now to check his morale. We had 2. 2 plus 3 is 5 for the damage. So 5 is greater than his morale. He was a good order unit, so now he becomes a shaken unit. Okay, so they're now shaken. Okay, we return that fire, and he became shaken. All right. And draw 1 replacement card. Okay. And that's the end of the first round. So now we do upkeep phase. So our upkeep phase here, resolve melee overrun, resolve terrain placement, there isn't any. Blazing terrain morale checks, no. Ready all spent leaders, we don't have any button. Transfer support weapons, combine half squads. So nothing for the Germans. So now we're going to do, to see what they're going to do, we draw 1 card for a discard. So we get rid of that one. Keeps our deck moving. And they get a 5, a 2-3. Okay. 2-3. Move, flank. All right. Gotta find my move action here. Move action. Select AEO sector, least fatigued, closest sector to victory objective. Well, that would be these guys right here. Okay. Any shaken? No. AEO units stacked in loaded transport? No. Empty transports in sector? No. Does AEO control that? No. AEO adjacent to a PO? No. AEO in same area? No. Conduct sideways move to area containing POs. Now, why did I come up with that one? AEO in same area? Yes. Move towards that area. So this stack is going to move this time. and they're going to take a fatigue on the whole stack. Now, over here, I forgot to separate these because only one of these units got fatigued when they fired that machine gun. So we'll put the fatigued unit over there. Right. They're all in the same stack, but only one of them took fatigue because only one of them fired. Here, this whole stack will get fatigued. There was only one unit there. Okay, so they're going to do the move. Now we have to check for the flank. Let me check to see how to do that. Okay, so we're checking for flanking. Well, he can't flank because he's shaking. He doesn't have line of sight. They got to be in the same area. So the only one that can flank is this group here. So they're going to try to flank this bunch up here in the woods. Okay, so they have to do it does not cost them any fatigue, but they have to conduct a morale check, and both of these units have a morale of 5. So they're going to conduct a morale check here, and the morale check is 5, so they passed the morale check. So they are now flanking. Right. So I'm looking for my flanking markers. Here we go. We have a flank. Control. Oh, there it is. Okay. So they're going to flank A right here, and the units that they're flanking is right here. All right. Okay, so they're conducting a flanking maneuver. Well, I need to stop this foolishness. Okay. And their leaders, he could conduct fire. He could order a fire from this group. From a unit. He can't. Let's see, the helmet is a ready action. And the other one's a rally, so they don't need anything. No leader over there. He doesn't have anybody he could attack with, because the hill blocks. They come up and then they come over. But Sergeant Bauer could order a fire command as one of his actions. That's a leader action. And he can order one unit to fire. So he's an infantry squad and a second line squad. So he's going to order the second line squad to fire. That's going to fatigue them. Their firepower is a 1. Well, wait a minute. Range is 1, 2, 3. He can't do that because they're out of range. So he won't be doing anything. Okay, take that back. He can't do that. He doesn't have a automatic weapon over here to do that with. Okay, so that's it. That's it for the Germans. Now we come back to the Americans. And the first thing we do is our upkeep. So in our upkeep, we remove melee, counter run, resolve terrain placement. So this unit is moving up here, and the terrain is bocage. Okay. So they're going to move, and this becomes spotted in the bocage. That's good because that's a nice heavy terrain there. Okay. And we have a spent leader who can now become unspent. All right. So I have he can do rally or a unit action. I'd like to get on that hill. Keep these guys from getting up there if I can. And I got a BAR. Get them up there fast. There'll be a fatigue of 2, but they'll be on the hill. That's really what I'd like to do with them. They're going to get up here. Yep. So they're going to play, let's see. They're going to play a unit action. Man, there's a flanking maneuver too. I can do both. Can attempt both. We can try to flank them on the hill. So we're going to play a movement action here. Going to change their fatigue of this whole stack to a 2. And they can do the second action. They're going to try to flank this unit. We have to use the lowest morale rating. That's a 6. These are all 6s here, and I get to add my leadership 5. So they're going to flank. This is with a B. So we're going to flank. I guess the green is the guys that are doing the flanking. That's the way I should do that. So they're flanking this group. So they're going to move on that hill. Can they do that? That's a second. I can't do that because that's a second action with the same group. They can't do that. They either move or they flank. Yeah. I do have a flanking action here though, and I drew a 5. And my lowest morale over here is a 6. They'll play that flanking action to get rid of this flanking here. So they stop that. Okay. That works. Okay. So we did that. I don't have anything happening here. Nothing here. Over here, he can do a unit action if he wants to. Or he can do a fatigue. He's going to reduce their fatigue and take that off as part of his leader actions. Okay. 2, 3, 4. I get to draw 1. 5. All right. This goes back to the discard. We now look at the upkeep phase for the Germans. No overruns, no terrain placement. Yes, there's a terrain placement. He draws a card. It is marsh. Ugh. So they move into the marsh. And they're spotted. Oh, that's not good for them. So they got there. They're going to be in trouble here. Okay. That spotted marker comes off. All right. It takes care of those guys. Ready, all spent leaders. They're okay. Transfer weapons, combine half squads. Okay, it's time for their next action. And it is 9, 5, 4. 9, 4, 5. Melee, overrun. Well, I don't think they're going to have anybody to melee with. Check the card here for that. Melee overrun. Okay. AEO units adjacent to PO. Player units. No. Go to unit spin or discard. Okay. Unit spin or discard action. Order referred from another flowchart. Yes. Spin selected AEO from previous chart. So we didn't have anybody selected. Do we have an AEO shaken? So what we're doing here is order referred from, whoa, it wasn't, was it referred? Yeah, because, so it says yes, spin selected AEO from previous chart, AEO shaken. Select single AEO closest to, can AEO self-rally? No. In terrain with positive die roll modifier, yes. Multiple AEO in sector, no. Where's this thing go? Smoke in sector, no. Smoke able to be placed within sector, no. AEO marked moving that refused terrain, no. AEO marked with fatigue, no. Yes. Reduce fatigue on AEO closest to player unit. So I would say it really depends on these two guys here. So we should roll to see which one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. It's this guy. We go through all that. He reduces fatigue. Okay, so that's what they did for their move. They don't have any overrun. Okay, back to the Americans. Okay, we don't have to resolve terrain. We do move up, and they are spotted. Okay, that comes off. All right, we have a fatigue of 2. We can do a fire action here. They're going to get a die roll modifier. It's going to make them spent, but they can get a close range fire shot right on this stack right here. So that's definitely what we're going to have to do, I do believe. Ooh, man, I have a sniper there too. But we see them. We're going to play fire action on these guys. I do have my BAR, and this is going to be a group fire action. So that makes that 1. I got 1, 2, 3, divided in half for the group fire action. Makes that 1/2, so that's 2, plus 1 is 3. So I get 3 firepower and my leader. And this unit is going to be spent, which removes this fatigue from them. So the unit is spent. They have a firepower of 3, firing in down there, so I get a +1 modifier. So let's see what happens here. Okay. They're not moving. They're not firing through a degraded line of sight. Firing at range of 1 is +1, so that makes me a 4. I have a leadership modifier, that's 5. So I have a modifier of 5 to hit. 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. I don't want to forget. Now their defense here is a -2, which is just not good for them. So they're going to have 4 minus 2 makes that a 2. It's not an add-on, so it's going to be they're at 2. So I have 7 to 2. That's 5 difference. So they have to do morale checks for both of these units. And they have to have an addition of 5. Morale check for the leader. 2 plus 5, 7. He becomes shaken. Second line squad. 3 plus 5 is 8. His morale is 4. If it is greater than 2 times, it is not, he becomes shaken. So now we'll put him and the leader is shaken. And now for the last one, 2 plus 5 is 7. So the whole group is shaken right there. Okay. So we did our job there. Take all of these off of here. All right. I can't have him do a rally of a unit that just went that way. I have to wait. I don't have anybody here. I don't have anybody here. I can do a unit action, which is what I think I'll do with this squad and machine gun team again. So he'll be spent. Sergeant Miller will be spent with these guys. They're going to be a fatigue of 1, and they're going to fire that M19, which has a firepower of 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he's a firepower of 2 on a 5. That's nice. That's a 7. Don't get to add my leadership because he's directing the fire there. Now their defense is 2. Oh, and 5, 7. So no effect. Dang it. Had a chance. Had a chance at it. All right. I have to draw a card. Here we go. A nice sniper card up there. I got a feeling we're going to have to play that pretty soon. Infantry squad, a BAR, and that mortar has a range of 6. Okay. All right, I think early on it takes a lot of, I know it's going a little slow for me because I haven't played this in a couple weeks. We're getting back into it a little bit. I think what I'll do is call this video because we're getting towards probably at least 45 minutes. And I want to try to keep these under an hour if I can. So we're not even midway through turn 1 yet, but things are picking up now that we're starting to get some fire. We got some guys shaking. Some of these things are going on. He's going to have a rally so he can rally himself, get the shaking off of him, get him effective again. You know, some of this stuff's going to start happening. So let's see what we can do. I want to make sure I review a couple things too, and we'll see where we're at. So I think we'll call this video here, and then we'll continue it on and see how this battle continues. So we got 3 turns to go through here, so we have probably several videos that we'll end up making. But I think we're off to a good start. I like the feel of it. I'm kind of getting back into the swing of it. It's time for the Germans again, so that's a good time. And so, yeah, I think we'll call it. So hopefully things are going well. Of course, like you always do, if you see where I mess something up, let me know. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I'll see you guys for the next one.